I have finally started to build some farms. And if you look over here, this one is actually really powerful. Even though it took me less than 2 hours to gather a couple of materials and build it, it's working so good. I have not AFK'd at all because I'm trying to not AFK too much in the world, as I said before. And this is what I have so far. I crafted a couple of blocks already, so let's craft these as well. So we have 3 stacks of magma blocks over here. And this is maybe, I want to say 10-15 minutes of just sitting up there during stream and talking to chat and stuff like that. So the farm is really good and it's really simple to build. I kind of used just blocks that I had in my ender chest, to be honest. I didn't really design anything in advance, so I just kind of made this target kind of shape, I suppose. And it's actually working really well. I do have a couple of issues with some of the magma cubes spawning right on the edge. So I think I could actually add another layer of leaves. And I do have to add a glass ceiling just because some ghasts are spawning around here, and even though they don't attack the golem, I don't want them to attack me while I'm in the area and hit the farm or hit something else that I'm going to be building around here. But in order to get all that glass, I have to go and trade with some villagers for a while and try to get some emeralds to actually trade with the librarians that have the glass. And the good thing is that I don't need that much glass because I can just make a couple of lines. I can leave a 2-block gap, and that should be enough to prevent ghasts spawning. And I originally thought to dye the glass, and I'm not really sure what kind of color do I want, but I might just be dyeing it white just because I wanted to have a bit more contrast with the farm. The farm is gray and orangish, and I feel like adding the white glass on top would kind of make it pop a bit more. So I managed to get a stack and a bit of glass from all the chests that I have lying around, so I'll definitely need to properly build a storage so I don't have to rumble through all the chests that I have like this. And then I have a box here with some rotten flesh and a box here with some string that I can trade with some of these guys to get a couple of extra emeralds. It's not going to be a lot of emeralds, but then again, I think I only have one villager that sells me glass, so it's not that bad. And he actually unlocked really fast. So now let's find those clerics and trade some of this rotten flesh. Here we go. This guy is actually a novice, so I don't know how that happened. I do believe that the original one might have ran out somehow. Same as that librarian kind of ran out. And then this one is a master, so this is the original one. The rotten flesh does go away really fast because it's 32, so half a stack. But it is nice to have these guys because I can get ender pearls, I can get some glowstone, I can get redstone, which is really helpful. So I'm glad that I have these guys really early on, and I actually have the brewing stands as well, so that means I'll be able to get a bit more. And did I just trade with a third one? I only have 2 brewing stands here, so how are there 3 of them? Or am I imagining things right now? Maybe I'm just imagining things. No, there it is. It's 3 of them. How could it be 3 of them? I don't have 3 brewing stands. Or is there a third one that I left somewhere that I don't remember now? This is kind of the thing. I don't come that often in certain areas, and that's why I kind of want to make these villages, because like that I'm gonna have to actually travel in between them whenever I need something. So it's gonna make the world a bit more interactive than it is right now, because currently I was working only on that bridge, I was just working there. I was then working on the magma farm, I just went there. So I do need to kind of make a bit more infrastructure around here and to be able to trade with them a bit better. So now I just need to find the guy that actually sells me glass, which shouldn't be that hard because I only have 2 villagers over here. There we go. So that gave me almost a stack. So I do have to wait now until the next day for him to restock. But we will see how much glass I actually need. I will need some bone meal actually, which I don't know if I have in any of my ender chests, to be completely honest. I don't think I do, so I will have to go back to my starter house to get that bone meal. but it should be easy enough to make some white glass, and then I'll go put a few lines up there on the farm. The day will go by and then I will see how much more I actually need. And to be honest, I got a pretty decent amount of emeralds just by trading that string and the rotten flesh. So that farm, as old as it is, it's still a really good thing to have in your world early on. And this is how those 2 stacks and a bit of glass look like. I know I said I'm gonna be using white glass because it might create a bit of contrast, but honestly it's almost transparent using the shaders. If I would be without the shaders, it would look something like that, so it would look the way I originally thought. But I am playing with shaders and this is what it's going to be, and it definitely doesn't look like that was a lot of glass. I barely managed to get 3 lines, so I would probably need another 5 to 6 stacks maybe, so I'm gonna have to do a good bit of trading over there. But I did make the longest lines, so that's a good thing. So I'll be going back, get some more glass from that villager of mine, and I'll be back to finish off this thing. And then we can have a look to see if there's still going to be any ghasts spawning. Because to be completely honest, I might have put this 1 too high, but then again, if I would have lowered it, then the magma cubes, I don't know if they would still be jumping. To give you a quick update on this, I am a bit over halfway done, so I don't need to make too many more trips over to the villagers to get the glass. However, while I was doing this, I thought I'm being smart, so I replaced all these with soul campfires because I said, oh, they're gonna die much faster. But then I realized that magma cubes don't actually take fire damage, so they were completely useless. And obviously I had to start fighting them myself, and I almost died a good few times in the process, which was not fun. But luckily I didn't die and I didn't lose any items. But it was fun to see how many small magma cubes were actually underneath the platform, because they were slipping through the campfire and the top block there because the gap, it's not big enough. So enjoy a small time lapse of me fighting all these and almost dying in the process. Oh, and fighting all those magma cubes, I actually managed to get like 4 stacks of magma cream, so it wasn't that bad in the end. And that is the last piece of glass that should complete the farm. Even without these last 2 lines that I was still missing, I think the farm is so much faster. I noticed that the magma cubes can't jump as high, so they touch the ground quicker, so they're gonna jump again much faster. So they're gonna get into the hole much quicker than they are when they do their long jump, because they have a bit of a delay when they jump so high. So I think the farm is actually a bit faster now. So let's see, what do I have over here while I was like kind of building it and flying back and forth. Oh, that's a decent amount of magma cream actually. So that's a stack and 41. So it's going pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. I do have these soul campfires in here, probably gonna take those out. So we are well underway to start building our gold farm. It's probably not gonna be happening in this episode like I originally thought it would, because it did take me quite a long time to actually finish up the farm with the glass and waiting for the villager to reset its trades and all those kind of things. So I think that's going to be something for the next episode. But the episode, it's definitely not over yet, because I do want to do one more thing, and that's going to have to be done here at the starter house. It's been a while since I last updated these maps, so I'm gonna have to take them all away, lock them so I can replace them here without them changing, and then go and try to expand the map to what it currently is. Because the plan is to actually make some kind of room or tunnel where I'm going to be able to showcase all these maps, which I'm going to update every now and again. I didn't really decide if I want to do it every month or every 100 days or whatever it may be. I'm just going to do it whenever I feel like there's enough progress in the world that it's worth capturing on the map. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that my hotbar is full, so none of the maps end up in there and update themselves before I lock them. And then I'm just gonna pop them off, and I'm going to put them in my inventory like this, same way as they were on the wall. So now let's fly over to the village and get some extra maps from the villagers and try to get all those maps locked and updated. Right, so I got a couple of maps from my cartographer over here. I don't have enough emeralds to get more, but 21 should be plenty. So now it's just time to duplicate them, and then I'm gonna have to actually get some extra glass, which I didn't really think through, because I will need some glass panes in order to lock those maps. And it doesn't look like I have any left, unless there's 10 of them here in this shulker box, so that should be okay. And that's how it looks like. So we're gonna have these over here and then these over here. I'm gonna lock these first before I mess something up. So you basically need to put your glass panes and your map into a cartography table. You can see this lock over here now, and that's going to be locking your map, and it actually says locked on it, so it's easy to identify. And then you just put all of them, lock them up, and there we go. So now, for example, I do believe I am somewhere in this area. Yes, I am over here. And as you can see, the map doesn't change at all, because we know to the left side of that map we do actually have something. So now if I put that here and I get this map, you will see that on the left side of it there's actually the farmer village that we built earlier on. So obviously I'm gonna want to fly over here, because I do want to get a fully uncovered map. I don't want to just have like partial maps. So we're gonna fly over here. You can see that the road actually generated in there as well, and because of that I will actually have to land somewhere over here, just where the map ends. Let's land in this area like here. We're gonna place that map, and then we're gonna put a new map in our inventory, and we can right click and that should generate this one. So that pretty much covers this village over here, which by the looks of it doesn't look like it's covering my tower right now. So I would assume that I'm going to be using another map now. So let's take this out, take another map, right click, and then we have that small bit that's actually sticking out into this new map. Then we can fly over here at the bridge. Pretty much halfway through the bridge, I think it's a new map that's going to start. So we can take this out, put another one empty, right click, and that will create our bridge. I will have to do this a few more times just to expand it all the way to where our path is right now. I don't really have that much space in my inventory, so I'm gonna have to probably go and fly a bit back and forth to figure this out. So I do have a new area over here. You can see the path there. It does look like I need to fly over to this side just slightly. And then I'm gonna go over here at the village, or actually I'm gonna go over at my B&B, as I used to call it when I was building the bridge, sleep the night away, and then I can go continue mapping the rest of the area. So it took me a while to actually get all these maps properly sorted, because I forgot that I enlarged the maps. So they're not on level 0, they're actually on level 1. So I was trying to figure out why they don't match. and I couldn't figure it out for the world of me. And then I finally read the description of every map, and then I realized that the ones that are locked are actually expanded. So then I had to go and fly out again to rediscover the maps. To give you a comparison, this is what we have. So this is the locked map, so we can see the house. We are over here. This is the mountain, and then we have the mob farm, and this is the village. This is pretty much what I had last time when I created these maps. And then this is what we have right now. So this is more or less unchanged. We do have the extra willow tree over here if you have a look. You can see this one here, and then the willow tree. It's a really bright green over here, which is really nice to see. Then for whatever reason, there's some kind of small glitch over here. If I look from over this side, I don't really know why that happens. Maybe if I put this back? No, that doesn't seem to be fixing it. But regardless, this is the village. These are the farms, the bee farms that make me wheat, potatoes, carrots and all that. So you can see that they weren't here at that time. Then we have the path. This is the Mason village. This is my B&B village over here while I was building the bridge. I wish you could see the bridge a bit better over here, but unfortunately it just looks like a regular road. And then this is the road that I made all the way to the end portal. It looks really, really dark, but at the same time, it still kind of looks pretty cool. I was considering to make like a square map every time, but I feel like that would be a bit of a waste of time, and I'd rather just make the maps of the areas that I actually built. To show you a comparison of the Mason village, this is how it looks like on the expanded map by 1, and this is how it looks like on the regular size map. So it takes 2 maps to actually contain the village, because this kind of small bit, it's on a second map. But the second I enlarged it, it actually is contained on this one. And this is the one that actually made me consider if I made the maps right, because I used to have this one and I dropped it over here. And when I was looking at the map, when I was flying from this map into this one, it was correct, this one was actually showing up, but then I couldn't figure out why don't they match, until I actually managed to see that when you look on the maps themselves, this one is a scaling at 1 to 1 and it's a level 0 out of 4, and this one is actually a level 1 out of 4. And that's what kind of gave it away that that's the correct map that I need to make. So unfortunately, I did waste some maps, but oh well, it does happen. I can always go grab a few more from the villager, so it's no big deal. I do have some extra item frames now because of that. I crafted way too many. But this is pretty much how the world looks like. So I think I'm gonna have to put this into the book that I updated the map today. So today is actually the 9th of June. Let's go do that now before I forget. And here it is. Map update, the 9th of June 2025. Unfortunately, I didn't actually add when I created the map the first time, but I could in theory go back through my videos and actually see if I can manage to get that date. Maybe I'll work that out in between episodes. But regardless, this is now when we updated the map, so we'll see when I feel like it's going to be time to actually make a new update for it. So obviously I'm not gonna just leave these here. I just added them here for the time being because I don't really have the space. And looking at the way the maps are going, I'm not going to be able to put them on a wall, unfortunately. So I think I'm gonna have to figure out some kind of way where I enclose them into the ground somehow, and then just make a hallway basically that takes me out into the distance, and then we can just put some signs or something like that where we can put the dates where each map was from. And then when we look back a few years from now, we're gonna be able to see how the world looked like. I wish I would have made a map at the start of the world just to kind of see how it looked like when we started. But unfortunately, that didn't happen as well. But you know, the more episodes I make, the more things I come up with, the more things I remember, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to keep track a bit better going forward. And to stay on the same page and actually stay on track with things, if you look all the way in the distance there, that is my ominous bottle farm, and somewhere to its left, I believe, all the way up there where that thing is sticking out behind the mountain, that is the raid farm. So according to the rules of my world, I will have to actually build a path all the way there. I think I'm going to count the path in the Nether as an okay path that kind of sticks to the rules. I won't be able to build a path in the overworld for everywhere I have to go, so I'm gonna stick with building paths in the Nether. But the one that I currently have right now, I don't feel like it counts. It needs to be a proper Nether tunnel with ice and with rails and the whole thing before I can actually count it as a proper road and Nether tunnel. So I'm gonna have to get a lot of ice to actually build that tunnel. I'm gonna have to get a lot of rails, which those are not that big of a deal because I do have the iron farm and I'm doing pretty well on iron. However, I do have to build a gold farm in order to get the powered rails that I need. Or else it's kind of useless to have rails if I won't be able to power them, right? So hopefully in the next episode I'll be able to build that gold farm and start building the Nether tunnel the proper way. Obviously I'm gonna have to go to the magma farm to get more magma cream to actually craft all those magma blocks that I need for the gold farm. And I think that instead of AFKing, I will start building a path from the Nether roof portal all the way to the magma farm. So like that, I'm gonna have paths both on the Nether roof and I'm gonna have paths into the actual Nether. Because I feel like some of the farms are definitely better to just be built on top of the roof. But maybe I'll start building them underneath the roof once I actually get some proper resources in place. Because honestly, I feel like it's not the worst idea to make multiple farms of the exact same thing, especially that I don't want to AFK too much, so the more farms I have spread around the world, the more resources I'm going to get. But I think that is enough rambling for today. As always, thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate all your support. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and share your thoughts below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Until next time, happy crafting!